Welcome, everybody. There's us together here with McAllen Boys and Girls Club, here with Jordan Diaz, my friend, good friend of mine, many years, Bobby Palacios, and Karina.
Hello.
Welcome.
Hello.
Welcome, everybody. So this podcast is going to be more about we're bringing alumni, people that have been to the club before, played sports here. You, of course, have played, being from McAllen, played sports here, and then going to McAllen, you go to school here, and then your kids now have gone here, so to talk about all this right here going on. So first and foremost, Bobby, give us a little bit about yourself. Growing up here, and then coming to the club. What are you about?
Born and raised in McAllen. McAllen raised. I am a State Farm agent. That's my trade. Very involved with the sports and stuff with my children right now. But also, like you were saying, I was very involved or did a lot here at this particular
this location right here.
Yeah, that brings back a lot of memories.
What age did you start coming over here?
Oh, man. I know we did T-ball. I played baseball all the way up to pony.
Okay. So 14
I remember during the summers or after school programs over here, there was a guy that was doing like martial arts.
Okay.
We
Wow.
were out here doing that too. So, I tried a little bit of everything growing up here.
And the summers you came here, like your mom would drop you off here, and you're here most of the summer. What was it like? Would y'all do activities here? What would y'all do when you're in the summer?
Lots of different activities. Like I said, basketball. I also played basketball here.
Okay.
Growing up. There was just so much to do and keep us busy. It's a great program.
Right.
There's things here that what you guys do keep kids out of trouble.
Right.
You know what I mean? Keeps us off the streets, keep people out of trouble,
right.
And just opens up a lot of opportunities for these kids that we wouldn't otherwise have if we didn't have something like this here.
Right.
Especially in this side of town.
Right. No, definitely. And those teams you played on growing up, do you remember any names? I asked that people because mostly back then they were whoever sponsored the team, that was your team name.
Yes.
And so and now it's a bunch of different things.
The teams or the sponsors, but
right.
Man, a lot of people came through here. My coaches, and a lot of friends that we played. I'm trying to think.
Right.
Chris Trevino, I was on his baseball team. His dad was our coach.
Oh, there you go. He was at the time.
Jorge Salcinas played basketball with us. Cliff Stout.
McAllen Sports. That's right.
A bunch of people that were just very involved in
community. McAllen Sports had some teams here that were called McAllen Sports.
Yeah.
There was also, I don't remember back then, Otho Brand. So Brand had the brand and the vegetables and whatnot, and his thing. Lee's Pharmacy was one of the teams. Yeah. Frank Smith Toyota. I remember those teams were the teams back then.
And now looking back on it, there was always a sponsor.
100%.
But you don't ever really pay attention at that age. But
right.
Now I try to get involved as much as I can and sponsor things in the community,
definitely.
Like the high school or the camps. McAllen and FAR where my office is at. So
Growing up, so I'm going on those teams you're at and coming to the club. What did you learn anything? And do you have, in terms of coaches you had or coming to the club? Did anyone influential that you look back at and say, you know what, this person helped me do this, or anything here?
Thinking back on the basketball side,
yeah,
I'm not sure if my friend's dad. I don't remember if Bob Stout coached it because there was a bunch of us on that team, and even. Jeff and Cliff's sister, Brooke, she played with us boys.
Oh, the girls was basketball. Yeah. There you go. She was good enough.
Oh yeah, she was a stud.
Yeah,
it was awesome. She was really good.
Right.
So she played with us. But offhand, I don't remember. I'm really bad with names.
No, yeah,
I really am. But I do remember the programs. I do remember going through it and looking back now. Those are tremendous memories.
And you played back here in the back of the club right here, or on Muni?
No, back here.
Back here,
play T-ball,
yeah. Okay. There. So that's how
baseball,
right.
Yeah.
So and again, like we had previous guests earlier, and I don't want to age you, but this was back maybe about 30 years ago.
Yeah, I'm 45. I turned 45 on last Sunday.
So 35 plus.
Yeah, 35 plus. But it was years ago.
Yeah,
and this place is still going. It's still standing.
Good,
so,
right?
like I say, coming back over here, very nostalgic. Brings back a lot of memories, man. Big time.
There you go. And I think one of the things. Jordan might want to ask about being here at the club and stuff, and in terms of how it's grown and stuff. You started here at this club right here, and you played in. Was there both one gym, two gyms? What was over here on this side?
I remember it being one gym.
One gym
on this side.
Right. The main, this one right here.
Yeah, this main one.
Yeah.
And then they added that to the other side.
Later.
There was only one gym.
Where was the karate part at?
It was on that side, and they would put mats out, and it was hot.
You know,
It was
Asian
super
type,
hot, and I don't remember the name of the gentleman. I do believe he was Hispanic, but a cool guy. And I remember some of those workouts, like, just hold your hands up. Keep them up. Don't move. And I remember we would keep our hands up, like, it seemed like forever. But I never forgot those. Like, the next day, you couldn't even lift your arms. It was just like,
what was the point of having your hands up?
just, I guess, I don't know.
Part of the workout, maybe?
Yeah, part of the training.
There you go. I think that's like a
Trying to
1-2 punch
toughen
or
you up,
anything.
yeah. Toughen you up, focus your chi.
There you go. And so going into that right there, so we played T-ball growing up, and then basketball. Did you ever play football here, tackle football, when we had it, when it was available?
No, I never did that.
Because your parents didn't want you to, or you weren't around it?
Well, I never had friends, I guess, that were in it that I was, you know. My mom was always kind of against that.
Oh, sure. Tackle football?
No quiero que me peguen a mí. I don't want them to hurt him.
There you go.
You know, she was real like that.
Even though basketball was very rough, but
Yeah.
you want you to play football.
No quiero que le peguen.
There you go.
Type of thing.
I will say, because later in life, and with this later, you know, Bobby, we played, you know, adult flag football, and Bobby had one of the better moves of juking people out. I know you want to give an example how you would do it loud enough to people so that they would like think you're going one way and you go another way. So they, I don't want to do that.
It's funny because sound effects go into it, and I remember we were playing a game, and the quarterback threw a pass. I intercepted it. And one of the guys comes up, and I went one way, and I just made a sound. I was like, "Whoo!" And the guy went, and I took off down the sideline. And Andy and these guys couldn't stop laughing, and I couldn't stop. I'm running and laughing, you know, like one of those, like when you're playing touch or you know, chasing each other and just laugh. I couldn't stop laughing all the way down the sideline, and I couldn't stop laughing. Yeah, awesome.
That became his signature move after that. But every time you caught it, you make that noise.
Yeah. It was funny, man.
You didn't do those sound effects when you were younger, did you? That wasn't. No, it just
as I got older.
Yeah.
And it just came out like it was never something that I thought about. Like,
there you go.
Just the running, natural every 10 seconds.
Funny, breaking ankles.
What elementary did you go to here in McAllen?
I went to a private school till 5th grade.
Oh,
I went to Good Shepherd Christian School.
Okay,
over there on McAllen and Nolana.
Okay, and then from there you went to
De Leon. I went to Morris for 6 weeks or half a semester. We moved from that area to wound up at De Leon.
Okay,
and then went to Roe.
Okay, those are the 3 ones you went to. And at all those times you played basketball, or
I played basketball at Roe. I started late.
Okay,
you know, I never really. We didn't have a lot of stuff that the kids have now.
Right.
The training and the stuff like that. I know when I did baseball, we would practice at Crockett. My grandma lives around the corner, well, not too far. But, I mean, I would walk to practice. Yeah. And then walk back or wait for a ride.
What did you play in baseball? What position?
Center field.
Okay, yeah, outfield. Okay. Yeah. And then you get hit the ball pretty good?
More or less.
To 14, right?
Yeah.
But
so Pony was the last season.
And then you didn't try again in high school? No, didn't have
I think it just went to a point where it was like I said, I had to walk to practice.
Right.
But after that, I was like, man, if I got to walk to practice, I got to walk my ass back home.
Yeah.
Sasuke,
I'm done.
Let's just keep it indoors. Let's do basketball.
There you go.
You know what I mean? Type of thing.
So
but I mean, you know, obviously time, parents working and stuff like that. My grandma also took care of some of my other cousins and my sibling, my sister. So, you know, it was a lot.
Right.
For them, you know, at that time. So.
And you mentioned you have 3 kids?
I have 3 kids right now.
They all played their Boys and Girls Club?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. What did they play?
Isabella played volleyball for many years. Faith too. We started them at 3. I don't know. Maybe I shouldn't say that.
No. That's actually 5. 5.
That was pre-NDA.
Kindergarten.
And
I was a director then.
So yeah, Isabella and Faith went through volleyball. I don't think we got to do basketball, but I'm getting ready to put Zane in basketball, and we've talked about the flag football because he's been asking about that. You know,
give their ages.
Isabella's 16. She's going to be a junior at McAllen. Faith is 14. She's going to be a freshman at McAllen. And Zane is 6. He's turned 7, I think, next week.
Oh, there you go.
So they've all participated from rec sports all the way up to a high school league now that we have in the summer.
And even now, I believe the Boys and Girls Club is in charge of their summer league programs, which I was actually talking to Andy about. We just finished the volleyball one, which was at Rowe.
Right.
And then we just finished the soccer one, which I believe all our games were at Mac High.
Right.
And
how'd you like that, by the way? Our first year doing soccer.
the soccer.
How'd that go? Yeah.
The volleyball too. I mean,
right.
it seemed very organized.
Yeah.
Because when you do different leagues and try different stuff, sometimes it's very organized, sometimes it's very unorganized.
Right.
And it's a pain, especially as a parent that has several kids that are in several different things. Those 20 minutes starting late make a big difference. Because I got to go pick up another kid, and then come back. You
And
miss
then
the
not on
game.
time, yeah, not on
if it's
time,
not on
yeah.
time. Completely messes.
And then looking for you in the stands, like where's Dad? Yeah. And then
That makes a huge difference.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
I do know that. Well, I'd like to think that I don't miss very many games, so
Right.
when we're there, it makes a difference for them.
100%.
You know what I mean? I know my parents growing up, they worked, so they didn't get to go to a lot of
Yeah,
my games
right.
growing up. But when they would go, I mean, it's a huge.
Yeah, and knowing you, I know that we're Bobby and I have been friends for 20+ years, and I remember when we were having kids, one of the things you said, I'm going to be there at every game, no matter what and stuff, and so it makes a difference when they see you, with a.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I know. We were talking about this earlier about. I don't know if you had this when you were growing up. We were talking about earlier from the previous guy that the ride home with dad or mom, after a game and stuff.
Oh yeah.
And so, did you have any experiences with your parents? Or?
No,
no,
they weren't. Like I said, they
Yeah, right.
we were blessed
Right.
in the fact that they put me in there. Not looking back, it was a blessing.
Right.
They did what they could, but we didn't get to travel. We
Right.
didn't do anything like that. My mom and dad didn't do sports
Right.
growing up, so for them to push.
Which, by the way, your mom was a teacher for how many years?
My mom was a teacher in McAllen ISD for 35 years.
There you go.
Okay.
Yeah, many years. And your dad?
My dad worked for the Department of Human Services, and then he worked for the county,
Right.
the state.
Right.
He did a lot of different things.
There you go.
Yeah.
And again, knowing Bobby for that many years, very, very good parents, very nice people. I will tell you, though, his mom was very strict with him.
Oh yeah.
And had him, on a lot of different things also, but, be home on time, do this, manners. Because at a young age, you're one of my first friends I met that had a job at like 15, 16 years old also.
Oh yeah.
So I was, mentioned, did you have to do at one point having to go to practice and work at the same time? Were those there were
I
conflict?
know my junior, senior year, I got into I played basketball every year. In my senior year, I got beat out. By kid
Right,
who was better.
right,
Younger, I mean, it's hard to say, but I mean, he was better.
Right.
So I didn't get to play my senior year. I still went with the team, and but I also enrolled in a program that I would have to go to Mac High every day. Business Professionals of America, they get you a job. So I was going to school, and then I go to work in the afternoon.
Okay.
So I never had to do both.
Oh, there you
Yeah,
go.
but it was a very good experience.
Well, what job was that?
The job that they got me when I finished was with the Valleyland Title Company.
Oh, that you still had till we were in college.
Yeah,
Right.
I love that job.
Yeah. I was telling
was
Jordan
the
about
best
that.
thing.
They gave you a truck and
They
everything.
gave you. I was
At 15?
fresh out of when I graduated 17. I think I graduated because I was a summer baby.
Right.
But they gave me a job and they're like, okay, you're gonna be a runner. I'm like, okay, what does that entail? Here's a car. Here's a gas card. And I'm thinking, looking around like, this is for me? Yes. It's, awesome. It was the greatest thing. All I did was go pick up documents, drop off checks, make deposits. It was awesome. And back then there was no GPS, so they're like, we need you to find the whatever. What's that lake out there in Ed Couch?
Oh,
Delta Lake. We need you to go find the Delta Lake tax office. Have fun. Here's the address. And I'd be like, well, where am I going? Have fun. So I mean, it was driving all over the place, finding places. So I loved it. It was an easy job.
Yeah, no, I remember.
And I kept that until the wheels fell off. Went through like 2 trucks. They were just really good. It was a great job for me.
There you go. And, hopefully, tell you what you eventually went into, which is now you're a state.
I did that for a couple of years. After which,
But I'm sorry, I didn't cut you off. But you also did that, but you also did insurance. Because I remember.
yes, I started off. That was the first job out of high school. So I did that for a couple of years during high school, and then probably a year or 2 after, started going to Pan Am. And my uncle Ruben Elizondo was a Allstate agent.
That's right.
And he was a big influence in my life.
Oh, there you go. Okay.
So if we're talking about influences,
yes, yeah,
he
no,
was
definitely.
a great one for me.
How was
At
he?
that time, my dad wasn't around much then.
Okay.
And he gave me an opportunity, and I was getting into trouble, and he kind of just told me, you have a job tomorrow, you come in Monday. Kind of like, oh, okay. So showed up Monday and kind of took it from there. He was an agent for 45 years.
There you go.
With Allstate, showed me a lot. Him and my cousin Ruben showed me a great deal, and as luck would have it, I really liked it and enjoyed it. He showed me
Understood it
everything.
very well.
Yeah, and learned Spanish on the fly. I didn't know Spanish.
I know that.
I didn't know Spanish until I got there.
Oh, wow.
And he was just kind of like, I would put the phone on hold and, Dio, how do you say this? Deducible. Deducible. How much is it? How do you say 500? 500. Es de 500. And just he'd be walking me through it. Dio, I don't know how he did it.
Yeah.
And Dio, and this.
And now you're very fluent.
Oh, well, yeah.
Yeah,
Now
you
I
have
can
to be,
talk
right?
it. I'd say 90% of our customer base, here in the Valley, at least in my office, speak Spanish.
Right, there you go.
So, when we're hiring people, hey, do you speak Spanish? No, but I can learn. Yeah, no, you can't. Yeah, it's going to take you too long. Sorry.
Yeah, so you're
going to drown.
Yeah.
Especially being with an insurance agent, right? I'm sure you have to sell them on it, and it's not the same as just
it's very
delivering a simple
difficult.
sentence. You got to
Oh
be
no, it's very specific. The words you got to watch what you say and how you say it. You know what I mean? You can't use certain words. Because we're also educating the customer.
Right.
We got to educate them.
Right.
It's not just what we sell them. We have to educate the customer and tell them how it works. And if something happens, this is what you're going to do. Then you call us, or make a police report before you call us, and make sure that everything is in line.
Right.
So it's very specific and very
On how it goes, right? And so in doing insurance now, and you have your kids in sports, and you're doing all the things, what advice would you give other parents out there that are in your same spot, or how are with the club, having come, bring the kids over here and then go back to work, and then how do you?
It's a great thing. That's why the club is still
Right.
in existence.
Right.
It's something that our community needs.
Right.
There's a lot of kids out there that if this program wasn't available, especially I guess the example I could give is Elevate.
Great.
And I told my girls when we were doing the Elevate soccer, the Elevate basketball, which I coached for Faith, on the day she didn't want to go to practice, hey, you're going to practice. Why? Because the other kids are going to be there,
Right.
and I need to be there. Because a lot of these kids wouldn't get that opportunity to play,
Right, exactly,
or
yeah.
be in the program if
Yeah.
this didn't exist.
Right.
That's at which point I would tell them, like, man, you're blessed. You're blessed that you get to go and travel and do training. A lot of these
things,
kids have talent. There's a lot of kids here that have talent, but nobody ever gets to see it.
Right.
So these types of things help those kids get out and create
The
more
opportunity. Right.
for them to get
Exposure.
out.
Right.
That's
Right.
huge.
Right.
That is huge, and I love that. You know what I mean? Because you get the opportunity to work your butt off and get out.
I think one point also, like I'll say for you always tell me, Andy, like when I was younger, I didn't have the opportunity to be having these things with my with my parents and stuff. So my kids, I want to be able to get them involved in all these things and be there in all these things.
Yeah.
So in doing that as a parent and stuff, you learn balance on how to with not only your business but then the kids and stuff. So in doing that, is there a lesson that you've learned not only from growing from the club and your own experience and stuff that you give back to your kids that say, you know what, this is the way?
Yeah. How do you translate from what you learned as a kid? I mean, you spoke about walking to practice, and now I'm sure you give your girls a ride to practice,
Right.
and if not, they have their own car to go to practice, right? We still have kids taking the bus,
Right.
walking to high school practice.
I took the bus to school and from school.
Oh, I know that.
Sometimes if I
Yeah.
missed the bus, I would have to walk home from De Leon, and we lived in like Regency.
Yeah.
Or if mom worked late, or sometimes they forget.
North McAllen, right?
Sometimes I forget, only once or twice. You know what I mean? But
And what kept you going? Dedicated to, man, I have to wake up and still take this bus ride. I'm not in the best mood to walk, but this is something that has to be done.
necessity. There is no option. Just like now as a parent, I don't have an option. I got to take them if I want them to commit and be great at something or do well and excel at it. I got to get them there.
You connect with
This
that.
last
Yeah.
week, I'm a single father now, divorced. Lost both my parents during COVID, who they helped us tremendously.
Right.
And when they're with me, I go to 3 schools in the morning. Now, Bella's starting to drive, but On other days, I go to McAllen, Morris, and Milo every morning. Yeah. If I pick them up in the afternoon, same thing. Yeah. You know, leaving from work, coming to go get them.
So necessity.
There's no choice. Yeah, I don't have a choice. There's nobody to. So I think necessity. What is it that I need to get done? And trying to balance it all and schedule things at my office. Hey, reschedule this. Or you know, I'll be honest, I completely forgot that I was going to do this. You call me, I was going to go pick up the trailer and go pick up a worker, and I was just like, oh, thank God. I thought it was at 10:30 when I saw it. I was like, and don't tell me it's right now. It's at 11. I'll be right there. Right. So I always tell people that too. Like, I already know. Like, if somebody, hey, next week, can we catch up or, connect and do this? Yes, we can. If you remind me. And I remind me the day before and the day of. And they're like, really? And like, yes, really. You have no idea. Like, schedule to keep everything.
Because your schedule is your kids. And then, like, your work and stuff. So I know it definitely makes sense. I don't know if you knew this though, but I think we're gonna make another facility on the south side. We bought a Bottom Elementary, and we're gonna make another Boys and Girls Club on that side. So we'll have 3 sites.
So the bottom is where, off of 10th?
It's 23rd and
Jordan Avenue.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's awesome. Yeah, by the airport. So we'll have.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so we're gonna have.
That's where it's needed.
Right, south side. All those schools right there. All those kids can't cross with the expressway, so there's another place for them to go to, which would be there. So we'll have one on 3 Mile Line, which Buddy Owens. We'll have this one right here in the middle of McAllen, and then that one on the south side.
That's awesome.
And hopefully there also they're going to not only service the community that's there, that's needed with the adults and kids, but then hopefully Jordan and I are still together, 1-2 punch there, and we'll be able to, they're going to add some gyms there, hopefully up to 8 gyms. And we're looking to do more adult stuff.
Great. Yeah, more opportunity. Opportunity.
Good word there.
Yeah. The word of the day, opportunity. And I mean, as Bobby said about Elevate, that being an opportunity for kids. I know the first season that we had flag football, we here in the back of where Suarez Park is, we had some players coming from Roosevelt Elementary across the expressway, taking the metro, and then their parents having to take the metro after work to come and pick them up, take them back home. And they came in as a squad, and I'm looking over there at the park, I'm like, guys, is there any adult with you, or are y'all just 5th graders getting off the metro? They're like, nah, but sir, we're here to play. I'm like, okay, let's rock and roll, man. Yeah. So necessity.
That's very, very, very big. So hopefully, like, we'll give them an opportunity over on that side here in the next 5 years. We're gonna have a campaign coming up here soon to where we're bringing back alumni, talk about this, ongoing opportunities and things going on with the club, and so we're talking about doing that. Going to this next thing you just mentioned right now, your kids played high school ball with and stuff. So now Bella's going to be in what grade again?
She's going to be a junior in McAllen.
And then Faith is going to be ninth grade. So they'll be there together.
Yeah.
And so
now I don't have to go to 3 schools.
That's what I was saying. Like,
it went from 3 to 1. I'm already like, Hijita, do you have gas? Do you need money for gas? Not snacks, gas. I need to make sure you have gas.
There you go.
You know?
And it should be helping out with that, okay, good.
Yeah, if they're going to go to the same school, obviously their schedules, they play different sports.
Right.
Faith is going to continue her journey for soccer.
Good, okay, soccer's right there.
Because we used to travel both. Both of them used to travel both soccer and volleyball. And it just got to the point where it was just too much. Right. Bella got to her freshman year, I was like, you got to choose.
Yeah.
If you could play whatever you want at school.
Yeah.
But you want to travel ball, you pick one. Soccer, volleyball. What is it?
Explain that a little bit, because most of our sports are, they are rec. Mm-hmm. And we do have a lot of good teams here, but when we get to travel, like, what led you to get to that point with the girls? At least, I know competition is probably one thing to get more of that.
What age?
Yeah.
What age did you think was the best?
I started traveling with the girls in soccer kind of earlier than I probably should have. That's why I haven't started with Zane yet.
Right.
You know what I mean? I want to catch my breath a little bit.
Right.
But when we're talking travel ball, we're talking a competitive league.
Right.
So here at the boys' club, it's a recreational league.
Right.
You might have 1, maybe 2 teams that stick out and are really, really good and have stuck together. And over there, all the teams are like that.
Right.
So it's about getting better and growth, continuing to grow. Because, programs like these are great, but if you want to get to the next level, you got to
do a little more.
You got to do a little more.
Yeah, times have changed.
Like I tell my girls, and sometimes they're like, well, I don't want to go to prep. I paid for that. You're going.
Yeah.
I don't care. Like I remember in the boys' club games and soccer and volleyball, if the girls got sick, I would take them to the doctor and I would tell the doctor, can she play?
I can't you play.
I'll tell him.
Yeah.
Doc, Mande. She would call me Güero. Mande Güero. What has she got? She's got the flu, but yeah, it's going away. Can she play? And so I can tell her mom. And she'd be like, as long as she has no fever. So right away it'd be like, she's fine.
She's good.
Okay. I got the jersey in the car. Let's go. So we go. You're playing, man. And I would always use the example, hey, Jordan had one of the best games of his life with the flu. You had the flu. Orale. We'll make history. Let's go. You know what I mean? So, yeah, just always pushing them. And now, as they're older, the coaches, not just because they're my kids, but they're kind of wired a little differently.
Right.
The coaches love my kids because they're like, they don't
coachable.
complain. Yeah.
Coachable. Right.
You know, if they, well, he put me over here. It's not my position. I don't care if he told you to go get water for everybody.
Right.
That's your part. If you're injured and you're whatever and you can't play, you do what he tells you to do.
Right.
It's part of being a teammate, you know, which will translate as you get older.
Right. That's the next thing. Yeah.
And the job.
Right. Right.
And you're not always going to be the stud or the best in the job and anything.
Right.
So if he tells you to play, you play wherever he tells you to play. It's
right.
real simple. You do your part.
Right.
That's all I ask. Do your part. Give it your best.
Very, very black and white.
Yeah, there's no gray.
Yeah, there you go.
A lot of people, it's gray. It's not gray. It's
right.
black or white. It's really simple.
Right. Right.
How do you think we can incorporate more of that mindset into the next generation? I mean, as you see, more and more teenagers are not wanting to work until they're 18, 19, 20 years old, right? And as you said, you started working at 15. I started working around 16 years old as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, same. I work too.
Andy was unemployed until 30.
It all starts at home.
Right.
Everything starts at home. You know, when kids come to my house that are their friends, I'm real blunt, rough on the edges, big time. Like, I'm just old school.
Right.
I think, you know, that there's still a lot of parents out there like that, but a lot of parents are so busy. You know, two parents working in a household, and now we got the internet. Social media distorts in every aspect what reality is.
Right. Right.
It completely distorts it. So it's given us the power to access somebody on the other side of the world immediately.
Right.
You can look up anything immediately. I was looking up something the other day, or yesterday. My microwave at the house, it said filter. Filter. I just scanned the thing. Filters order on us. Where before you'd have to, okay, le quitarte all the bolts. Espérame la de esa. So I could take a look at it, and, you know, I mean, everything's right there.
Yeah, there you go.
So it makes things convenient, and I do believe that nowadays we live in a microwave age where people want everything immediately. They want to see, you know, results immediately, and it doesn't work like that. Right. Especially in sports and things and developing kids with anything.
Right, right.
My team members at the office, it takes time to develop them. I got to get them licensed. I got to train them. I got to show them, hey, this is how you do it. This is how you don't do it. You got to let them make some mistakes. Well, I told you.
Right, right.
You know, and that's kind of how you go, you know.
I think that instant gratification has taken a big toll, not just in sports, but in like you said, reality as well. I know LeBron talked about it on a podcast, I think with Steve Nash, about ring culture, even though it's something that he created, you know, when going to Miami. But, you know, now you're seeing the NIL deals. You're seeing more high school players acting like if they're already college athletes and deciding where they want to go.
Yeah.
What do you think about that?
So much has changed. The college thing, the NIL, man, I mean, I got to say that I think that could be a good thing too, because a lot of these players that went and just went on a scholarship for sports, a lot of them live in their car.
Right.
A lot of these players can't afford to live.
Right.
How can you live in a car and be, you know, a top prospect somewhere, but you can't afford food?
Right.
You can't afford somewhere to live?
Right.
But all these colleges are making billions of dollars off of their name and their performances.
Right.
Well, they should share.
Right.
Sorry. If you're going to make money off of me,
just
like I tell my team, hey, I'll pay you more money, but you're going to do more.
Right.
Simple. The more you do, the more I'll pay you. So, I mean, if these kids are bringing in all these fans and they're making billions of dollars, you have billion-dollar college stadiums.
Yeah. Yeah.
They didn't build it on the back of the sponsors. I mean, maybe so, but I mean, the team, people go to see the kids.
Well, they made a good example of that when Johnny Manziel won the Heisman there at A&M. Right after that, all the money came into those 4 years. Where they built a whole section of the part of the stadium that they use now to recruit other players. That's like top notch.
I mean, and that's because Johnny made millions
Exactly,
under the table. So I can't even imagine what he
and they had
a
show on it on Netflix.
Right.
Crazy. I think he even helped Reggie Bush get his Heisman.
Right.
Because if he did it, why did you?
Yeah.
Hey,
Right.
It's fair.
No, it's a good point. I know, Karina, how old are you? I'm sorry.
I'm 16.
16.
Yes.
So she does not know a world that Google does not exist. Right? And for us, when we were younger, it was an actual map.
Oh, yeah.
Encyclopedia. You had the latest edition.
That's funny you say that.
Wait, you
My
found
neighbor is a doctor, Dr. Worrell. I don't know if you ever met him there at my house.
Huh?
Well, one day he calls me. He's like, hey, Bob, come over to my house? I'm like, okay. And he's like, do you want these? They were encyclopedias. Who's going to throw them? I said, do not throw those. I want them.
What year were they?
I don't know, but they look brand new.
Okay.
I have them
Were they
in
Britannicas? I always wanted some Britannicas.
No, these are just as nice though.
Yeah.
They look brand new. I have them at my office.
Oh, wow.
In a shelf in the front. People come in. What are those? That's Google.
That's good.
What?
Yeah.
What are you talking? That's our Google.
That's right.
What do you mean?
Yeah.
It's a book. Pick a letter. Pick something that you're interested in. You know, elephants. Or the E.
Yeah.
Elephant. This is how we did our research. So I kept them.
That's
And I showed them to my kids, and they're like, what? They couldn't believe- I'm not even going to touch that book. It's 50 years old. Like, it's crazy how technology has changed.
When I was younger, they had these commercials for Britannica encyclopedias, and I always wanted to get them. They were like so expensive.
We'll put you on a 5-year payment.
Layaway.
You know what I mean?
And so I remember my dad brought us home some encyclopedias, and I was like, these are Britannicas. I didn't know what brand it was. Some old blue ones.
Yeah.
And I remember, these go to the 1970s. There's more stuff that happened since then.
Or the Bible stories. Remember the Bible books? The blue ones?
Yeah,
we had those at home.
Those two.
But
that's good. No, so and going through all this right here. So coming to the club and your kids coming to the club come full circle with the kids coming here. What other advice would you have in terms of coming the Boys and Girls Club? We have a summer program we have going on right now. We have sports going on right now. You can play sports. I will say from age 3 to high school now that we've the only sport we're missing is baseball, but we're still reluctant to see
high school baseball.
Yeah, to see high school baseball. Yes. What would you tell other people out there, other parents that have not been part of the club, about like what we offer, how we do things, and how to help your kids out? And also your career. I'm sorry, like now
it's a tremendous resource,
right?
Right. You got to use it. You got to be part of it.
Right.
Those are some of the memories that growing up taught us a lot.
Right.
And were very impactful and influential on who we met,
right.
what we did in high school and played, and
right.
the people that you come across. It's just imperative to have it in the community, and I think it should be used. Because I also use it in this fact that, like, when my kids start to complain, hey, these kids don't have what you got.
Right.
I don't want to hear it.
Right.
I do not want to hear it. You're blessed. Be quiet. Sit down.
There you
go. Okay, I want to play. And you drop 4 balls. When I would coach Faith, she would get pissed. She would start crying. Oh, okay. Sit down. Dad, I want to. When you can get your composure, I'll put you back.
Right.
You can cry all you want. Yeah, but you're my dad. Yeah, but here I'm your coach. And I'd sit any kid that dropped 4 balls. You dropped 4 in a row. I'd sit any of them down, especially you.
Right.
Right. So, I mean.
And you weren't trying to be tougher on them. That's just the way cookie crumbled in that particular instance, right? So,
I should be harder on mine.
Right.
Well, I mean, that's just my thought process.
Yeah, right.
I mean, I was still hard on all the other kids.
Right.
I mean, to an extent, though. I can't yell at anybody else's kid.
Right, no, yeah.
You know what I mean? But, I mean, I was always harder on mine.
Right.
Especially because if I'm coaching or helping, she's going to get judged more. Well, you just play her because she's yours. Well, I'll set mine, too, because of the way she plays.
Right.
You know what I mean? I always had a schedule. Because it's not easy, and the coaches are volunteers.
Right.
Some of the parents can be really
a handful.
Yeah. So I had it all down. I had like a little sheet that everybody has to play 50%. Yeah. No problem. If it went to 3 games, the ones that played the best play.
Let me tell you something real funny about Bobby. In case like growing up, and then let me tell you something real fast. I also met Bobby at my dad used to have a gym, and Bobby went in there to do aerobics. I left weights. He was with some friends doing aerobics. I was thinking, what are you guys doing aerobics for? Right?
A long time ago,
right? Doing aerobics, right? And then going in there, and these guys coming out. Is you, Tony, Joey. I think David goes sometimes.
Yeah.
And they come in their bandanas and whatever and that, and then get in there, and then you walk in and they're doing their stuff, but then they get a good workout coming out, and I'm thinking like, oh, they're going in there to get their, endurance, whatever. But no, it was
cardio.
But it was a room full of girls, so that was the second part of doing aerobics and stuff. But y'all stuck to it from all the years that I knew y'all there at the gym and stuff.
Oh yeah.
So and mind you, this gym was a gym with a hardcore like lifting weights.
Yeah, no AC.
Yeah.
You went in there to sweat. Even if you went in there to sign up, I got my first workout. I haven't even paid. Like, yes.
Right.
Yeah.
But so when he talks about like being organized and doing these things, it's funny to see where he's come from, because I knew Bobby always joking around and being fun, and he always has been. But to also see you as a father and then run your own business, I've always been proud. Bobby came from no game or anything. He worked for what he had. You run a very successful business, and I've seen you give back, and I've seen you be here with the kids, and that means a lot to me. And I know that it didn't come from anywhere. So the stuff about you telling us right now about walking and having to do these things, they came from somewhere.
Yeah.
This one to do better.
Yeah.
And be better, and then put that on your kids as well, because you want them, of course, all of us want our kids to do better than us.
Advocating for others,
right,
too.
Right, that too, and then seeing the difference. So all those things, I think, put them together, they're very, very important. The Boys and Girls Club does offer those things. We bring a lot to light, and you're one example of many that have come through our doors, and particularly being here. Because this is a special place.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
This is your original.
This is the OG,
the original
OG one.
OG.
And people keep every time I talk to someone that's like either older or in between, tells me, "Well, that wasn't there before. Now this is, and this is right here." So we've grown. I mean,
oh yeah, by least
yeah,
and it should.
Right,
it's a necessity.
Right,
within the community, there's so many kids that would go under the radar.
Right.
Academics is one thing, but every child's gift is different.
Well, see,
some are going to have
it brings out it brings out different personalities.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely on doing those things, because it helps out with a lot of different.
That's Danica.
Yeah.
I coached her in soccer.
Someone just passed that right now. She knows who you are.
And right now she's a junior staff helping out
there you go.
our younger youth on her free time.
Oh, there you go.
She goes to Pioneer. Good player.
Good volleyball.
Good parents,
Very
yeah.
good.
There you go.
Very, very, very talented young lady. Fast.
So there you go. So example of you were a coach the girl, and now she's here at the club working with us.
That's what you say.
You know everybody. Connections.
Yeah.
And right now with Bonham being built over there in South McAllen, we are also looking for sponsors. What advice or what would you tell a sponsor that what they're investing their money in?
You get what you put into. I believe programs like this are still around because they're doing it for the right reasons and doing it for the future. The kids are the future. It doesn't matter where they're from. The kids are our future. They're going to be future community leaders, pillars of the community, future business owners, future parents.
Right.
We got to pay it forward. If we're blessed, we got to pay it forward. I'm big on that.
Good.
I'm big on the fact that if you do good, good comes to you. So this program does nothing but good.
Right.
You know what I mean? Is it always perfect? Absolutely not. But nothing is. But the just what it's built on and the principles of it and why it's still around is because of that.
Right.
Because it gives back, and it gives opportunities and opens doors that would never be there for these kids if it wasn't around.
Right.
Yeah.
You know.
And I'm sure, like, you've seen with your kids firsthand how it's, like, impacted them. Like, can you, like, elaborate a little bit on how it's changed them and how they grew with the Boys and Girls Club?
Definitely. I know when they were younger, sometimes, my wife would tell me, hey, man, she's 5. Because I was really on them.
Right.
And I've lightened up a lot. I'm taking a different approach with my son, but still on him. But, I mean, I was on him. Like I would go and make myself the assistant coach. That way, coaches with them, and I was focusing on my kid too, And that's why when I said earlier that the coaches like my kids because they're workhorses. Mm-hmm. They work, man. They won't complain. They won't cry unless they're hurt. Like when they cry or they tell me that something's wrong,
it's serious.
I know it's serious,
right?
Because they don't cry.
Right.
They don't just make up stuff. They don't try to skip practice. Like, they work, man. They work hard, and they know what they need to do.
And going to, I think, her question also, like, I think when I met Bella, she was very, very, very shy. The older one.
Yeah.
And the middle one was one that kind of gave a little more talk back. But but Bella was very, very quiet. And I think actually became one of the better players on the team. I think that grew in her confidence to, I guess, speak up more, right, and do things.
Yeah.
Because now, was the last year before, she was the only freshman starter for McAllen volleyball, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I think with that, the things you've done to help her to get that point, and then not only a starter, but played very well in that team that did really well.
Yeah.
Bella's kind of opened up. So do you think, like, younger, did that help her out?
I think sports helps with everything.
Okay, yeah, right.
You know, just building the confidence, because confidence a lot of the times now is just, you know, everything is everywhere. You know, bullying now is cyberbullying. I mean, there's so many things, and sports is an outlet as well for these kids. You know what I mean? When they're going through things or they're stressed out, you know, my kids will tell me, you know, Dad, I really didn't want to go to practice.
Right.
And I'm glad you made me go. And I'm like, why? Because it was an awesome practice.
It was good, yeah.
It was an awesome practice. Right. You know, I got a lot off of my chest, and it just, thanks.
Good little stress reliever. That's a good point, yeah.
And even for adults, exercise is good for, you know, everybody.
Right.
You know, but yeah, it really helps them come out of their shell, and you see their personalities blossom into the people that they become, and the things that we go through mold the person we are.
Right.
So all these experiences growing up and being shy, and, you know, as they start growing, hey, you need to speak up.
Right.
If you're listen to your body, type of thing. I tell Bella all the time, hey, your body's gonna win. If you're hurt, you need to speak up.
Right.
You know, because they're the time I'm gonna finish the game.
Yeah.
You know? I'm going to finish the game. She hurt her hand last year in the playoffs against Flower Bluff, who went on to win the state championship.
Right.
And we hit him in the face and beat him a set. The first set, we came out, and they were on. Well, she got injured, and she wanted to keep playing, and I had to go over there. I was like,
I remember that.
I said, you're done. Give me your hand.
Right.
No, Dad. I said, give me your hand. Then you're done.
What you did? What happened to her?
She fell on her hand, and it cracked her
wrist, right?
Her thumb box.
Oh, there you go. Okay.
So when she was hitting the ball, she couldn't control the hand anymore.
Okay. Just flying everywhere.
She couldn't.
Yeah,
she wanted to. The will was there, but the body said no.
Yeah.
So that's why.
Yeah, and McAllen at their full strength went at them, and then Flagler ended up winning the state championship that year.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah.
So I mean, it teaches them a lot. And they got to dig deep, and you know, like anything else, a little bit of adversity helps.
Right.
You know, but some of these kids have more adversity than others.
Right.
You know, we're blessed. I never had travel ball. I never had privates. I never had strength and conditioning.
Yeah.
Strength and conditioning was walk to practice. You want to get strong? Walk home after practice. That's your strength and conditioning.
No water, no nothing, right?
Bro, there's no water bottles. And
Gatorade.
Gatorade was in a glass bottle. You know? And that's how long ago it was. But, you know, looking back, a lot of great memories and a lot of things that have impacted me here. And it's awesome to see my kids go through it. Good. You know what I mean? And what it's given them. And, you know, it's helped tremendous amount of kids and people throughout the years. Decades.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
Decades.
Yeah.
Of influence and positivity interjected into all these people's lives that wouldn't otherwise be there if this wasn't here.
Right. Yeah.
You know?
I will say before we end this thing right here, do you have any pictures from here when you were growing up, like team pictures?
No, I would need to find them.
Yeah, because I know you used to wear glasses when you were younger, right?
Yeah.
Like the thick ones.
Like I know not in my phone I don't have any.
Right.
But as a matter of fact, I was cleaning out my garage the other day, and my mom would make us keep everything.
Oh, sure, okay.
So I found a box that my mom
kept
together.
Oh, nice.
All my yearbooks.
Oh, nice.
Junior high, high school.
Yeah.
I mean, crazy.
Very
crazy
cool
stuff to be able to go back and reminisce and look and.
Wow. When you have a chance, maybe send me one. We posted up also during this thing of an old picture because I know that'd be cool to look back at those kind of things. Here at the club.
Yeah. I need to look for some. I have some friends that might have one.
There you go.
On the wall or something. I'll have them snap a picture and send it to me.
Well, Bobby, thank you for being here with us and stuff. And again, to the alumni with Bob. And what years was it again that you were here?
Oh man,
I'm not thinking I would date you, but it
was in the 80s.
Late 80s, early 90s?
Yeah, late 80s, early 90s.
Yeah, I would say I was in the early 90s as well. So, Bobby, was a player here, a player at Nicky Rowe, and now State Farm agent, father to three good kids and stuff. So, again, thank you very much for being here with us. And
thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Thank you.